Good evening. A woman has died after she was swept away in floodwaters at Churros. Police say the 32-year-old woman and a man had become trapped in flash flooding on Churros Road around 2 a.m. She then exited the vehicle but was washed away. Her body was recovered by SES crews later this morning. The man she was with was uninjured. Further flash flooding occurred at Mogo with up to 200 millimetres of rain falling overnight. It comes as the Bureau of Meteorology issued a major flood warning for the Duo River, which peaked at 8.79 metres. Farmers and rural property owners also being urged to watch the river and be ready to move equipment and livestock at short notice. And Illawarra Police have rolled up their sleeves to donate blood as part of the Bleed for Blue drive, which is in its 4th year. Partly cloudy for Ballarat. Good evening. 46-year-old Ballarat man Matthew Tilley has been sentenced to life in prison today over the brutal murder of Suzanne Paul almost 30 years ago. Advances in DNA technology led to a breakthrough in 2019, connecting Tilley to a discarded takeaway coffee cup. Suzanne's children, now adults, are telling other families to never give up on their cold cases. Coal Lake Otway is experiencing a baby boom along the coastline. It's despite the rest of the country reporting the lowest fertility rates on record. Council's maternal coordinator Diane Earle says most births are by local mums on their 1st, 4th or 7th child. And the cries of Warrnambool have been answered with more direct access to the iconic waterfront on its way. V-Line's already inspected the site ahead of a $300,000 pedestrian crossing. Good evening. Early works on the new $60 million Bendigo Day Rehabilitation Centre are now complete. Over the past few months, the old hospital theatre suite on level 2 of the Hyatt block has been dismantled. The multi-purpose space will include 31 dental chairs, a new dental laboratory and consulting rooms, as well as services for rehabilitation, allied health and mental health. Bendigo Health Chairman says it will mean more jobs and more people being treated locally. Kyneton farmers and businesses will soon have access to recycled water following construction of a $7.5 million 13-kilometre recycled water pipeline project. And Stanhope police are on the hunt for this man who failed to stop for them on Wednesday morning. He's believed to be 25 to 30 years old. Sunny and a top of 28 expected for Echuca. Good evening. Canberrans are being urged to stay out of floodwaters if they're heading to the south coast. The warning comes after a woman's body was found south of Maruya at Churros early this morning. The 37-year-old woman got out of her car after it became trapped but was swept away by the floodwaters. There are 6 new cases of COVID in the ACT, while the number of Omicron cases has reached 7. At this stage, there won't be any changes to restrictions, including on travel to New South Wales or Victoria, following a national cabinet this afternoon. And Raiders duo Josh Hodgson and Bailey Simonson have both inked deals with the Parramatta Eels. Hodgson, who's been tipped to leave, will join the Eels in 2023 on a 2-year deal, while Simonson will join the Western Sydney club, effective immediately. Partly cloudy and a top of 19 degrees expected in Canberra. More soon. Good evening. Orbost has been issued with a major flood warning. By tomorrow, the Snowy River is expected to reach 6 metres high, potentially peaking at 7 metres by Sunday. In Bairnsdale, a moderate flood warning's been issued, with the Mitchell River expected to peak overnight. The SES are reminding us to keep up to date with warnings through the Vic Emergency app. Another landslide along the Great Alpine Road has prompted locals to call for better roads. Residents took their anger to social media, demanding the route be fixed before a fatality happens. The road's expected to remain closed until Sunday. And local farmers are being reminded to take care this summer following a spike in fatal crashes involving agricultural vehicles. We're asked to keep our driving abilities in mind and avoid driving right on lawnmowers on steep slopes. Good evening. A 62-year-old man is behind bars after shots were allegedly fired at a house in Aberdeen. Police were called to McAdam Street around 12:20 yesterday afternoon following reports of gunshots. No one was injured. A short time later, the man was arrested. Police conducted a search of the man's home where several firearms and ammunition were allegedly seized. His charges relate to using a weapon to injure someone or property. After 2 years heavily interrupted by COVID-19, the University of Newcastle's welcomed 19 international students back to campus. They arrived yesterday after completing 72 hours of self-isolation. And award-winning country music singer Kirsty Lee Akers is set to headline a star-studded Lake Macquarie Carols by Candlelight at Spears Point Park on Sunday. Partly cloudy for Maitland.